Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another podcast. This one's for 8-1. And here is the TFR crew heading up County Road 5 in pretty good order. Slightly ragged 2x2, but maybe I'm being too much of a pedantic fool on that one. Anyway, you'll notice that the TFR group thing does things a little bit differently than some of the others. We have the front two riders come off to the left side. Some people think this is a little bit wonky, but what it does is it lets the pace line, the double pace line, not have to change its line, given the narrow roads. If there were a closed road and we could ride in the center, the two splitting left-right would be good, but we find this to be a good alternative as long as those riders fall back quickly. There's been a tendency for people just to kind of sit out there and chat on the way back. Not the intention of this procedure, but I digress. Anyway, heading towards the beginning of the sprint zone, we can see a flapping cape up there, and that is the cape of our very own Superman, aka Byron Besserell, who has his regular bikes not in good working order, and the only thing he was able to find in his stable or quiver was the mountain bike. And it should be noted, it's also in trail mode. You'll see it bobbing up and down, a testament to his true strength here. People coasting, trying to get their last bit of respite, getting their heart rates down before the party is to get started in earnest. I would like to thank my fellow riders, that would be Scott and Ian, who are the riders right in front of me, for providing their camera footage, which will be displayed in a few moments. Scott's will be on the upper left, Ian's on the upper right, and there we go. I've included Scott's telemetry in his window. Ian didn't shoot me any, so I didn't have any for that one. Not certain I'll do this all the time because it's a little time consuming, but not so time consuming it's not doable. And this is a shout out to Mr. Doherty and Mr. Stevens. I've seen some of your videos. They're great videos. A little telemetry would be cool, but come see me. It's pretty simple. Free software. What can I say? I'm trying to share the knowledge and the love. Anyway, here we are heading up County Road Prospect, and there's a little bit of lethargy, little bit. It's not super hot, and the wind is pretty much non-existent. So this will make for an interesting day. We won't have everybody strung out across the road, and people will have to own it. And anybody who gets shelled because maybe they were echeloned off, that's not the case now. Anyway, I'm heading up towards the front, kind of keep things honest. Standing on the new bike, maybe it's not so new anymore, holding it down. And my wattage is pretty good to stay up here. We're talking above like 200 for most of the effort here. And this isn't easy. Looking at Scott's wattage, he's even putting out a little bit trying to stay with all of us. So it's a pretty good pace. I love looking at Scott's camera. It's got a good view of Byron Besserell, Superman there. The cape is flapping, no doubt to keep the big engine cool. Anyway, looking at Ian's camera, he's tucked in quite nicely, and it's a nice formation. And this is what I like to see when there is no wind. And you'll notice there's not much traffic on this road. This is why we've chosen it, but this is the way the TFR rolls. Danny, camera hound in the rear view. And I suspect that he's suffering back there just a little bit. You see he's coming off the front, and there was a little big breath there, so it wasn't easy up there. Got Steve Masted there, Superman behind him, and I'm up front trying to keep everybody honest. And you'll notice that it's not quite strung out, but no one is coming around to want to do much of anything just yet. The wheel suckers know. And those are the people that are looking to dominate the sprint, which is not me. Because if I was, I wouldn't be up here right now. I'd be sitting back like everybody else, waiting to sprint. And since I am mostly type 2 fibers, and for those people who don't know what that means fast twitch, I could unleash a reasonably wicked sprint if in fact I was rested, and I did that a lot. But I digress. Still up at the front, and you see my wattage, high, mid, low, 200s. So it's not super easy up here, and at some point it'll be my turn to give it up. But no one is volunteering at this point. I'm kind of surprised. It's not a lot of wattage, and it's later in the season. Everybody should be reasonably trained up. Not certain what is going up with here, but I think it's the opportunists. It's the people that have their ego attached to how well they do in the sprint, which is not me. Looking, and we can see in the cameras, yes, the big man, the mountain man, coming to the front. And oh, there's when my camera switches, so they'll be out of sync a little bit, but you get the idea. Byron, if you're looking at Scott's camera upper left, pushing some serious wattage. And you can see Scott on his wheel at this particular moment. 600 watts I saw there, trying to stay on the wheel of the mountain bike. So that just gives you a clue as to what kind of wattage, aka the man, is putting on up there. That is like most impressive. Everyone hanging tight, like I said before, not much wind, and it's going to keep people pretty much honest. Byron coming back off the front, and Steve lets him tuck in nicely, which I like that. It's a nice sign of respect for the big men, but Steve, like, you need to get your butt to the front sometimes, a little earlier than you do. Looking rearward on my camera, it's Mark. Yes, Mark. It is the Mark I am talking about. Bolton this time. Getting himself some camera time sitting on the wheel of myself, keeping in good position, which shows good tactics. Everybody knows, or at least if you watch these videos regularly, staying closer to the pointy end might cost you a little more watts, but when the attacks go and the gaps open up, you won't be put at disadvantage. And here we go, a little bit of rotation starting, and I love this. The mountain bike once again coming to the front. And here it is my turn. Byron gives the signal, looks over to see if anybody's coming as he slows down slightly, and I bring up the mantle. Mark on my wheel, and here I go, pulling off, and I believe we've got the party started in earnest. And this is the way the old TFR used to roll before the instantiation, before the supers came to grace us with their presence. We'd have a nice pace line, everybody rolling through nicely. Not certain what's going on here. I don't know what happened to Steve. He should be back there someplace, but perhaps being the opportunist. Got Tim coming in the front after Scott. And we've got Anna coming there. And there we go with the visor. Come on, guys. Like, Greg, why are you not on Anna's wheel? It can't be that bad, or is OCR that tough? Steve, are you boxed in? Curtis, what are you doing back there? And this is where somebody missed the boat to be on Anna's wheel. And I was boxed in a little bit, so I couldn't go, unfortunately, because that would have been a reasonable move because Tim and Anna got a little bit of a gap on the group. And if they would have had some people to work with, this could have caused another selection, which is what I also like to see. I don't like I don't like to have the wheel suckers get a free ride the entire way. It's nice to make them work. Tim at the front got a little bit of a gap. Either he went too hard or was trying to cause something to happen. Scott unable to stay on Anna's wheel, and Hernan comes through nicely, and I'm going to be on Hernan's wheel because Hernan is a good, smooth, strong wheel who can hold above 200 watts for 100 miles without a problem. Going by our two leaders, well done. I like that animation there. That is good. And of course, we have enough women today for the women's competition, so it looks like at this point Anna is leading that. Got Mark behind me, got Tim behind me as we push on up front. Life is good, and I believe Hernan is doing a lot of work. Looking at my wattage, even sitting behind Hernan, 300 watts. So I was chatting with Hernan about this, and Hernan, we're doing like 25 miles an hour. And the question was like, Hernan wiggled his elbow, and maybe we'll see that soon. And he's wondering like why I didn't come through. There's the wiggle. And we take a look. What happened to our speed? 25 miles an hour. It didn't really drop. And because of that, I'm not going to come through at 40 more watts to go around. So a word of the wise, like it should be like when you're doing rotation, the pace line does not change its line. So a little bit of a lesson for folks, either go to the left or the right. This is where Hernan should have pulled slightly to the left and let the line come through. But he stays up there at basically the same speed. We dropped like 1 mile an hour briefly because of the grade here, but myself at 300 watts, I'm not going to accelerate because for me to pass at 25, that means a little bit of an acceleration, and I'm not going to take over, especially when there's wheel suckers back there getting a free ride. Nice move by Mark coming to the front, and after riding with him on the Soar, I've seen the kind of power he can put out on long climbs, and he was putting a lot of people into difficulty. Danny looking good. Ilka fresh back from that training camp in Germany on the brand new repaired Niner, looking really strong. Perhaps she wants to contend for the women's prize in this contest. Everyone looking strong and well ordered. Superman back there on the mountain bike. Not certain why he's covering the brakes there on that mountain bike so much, but hey, perhaps it is just habit here. Takes a little bit of extra concentration for me to do that. Anyway, staying close to the front end of the stick, it's almost like we got swarmed here. If I wanted to get out, I would not be able to. Speed is good. It has dropped to 22 miles an hour, which is a testament to how strong Hernan was and keeping the pace high. Looking over there, it looks like Mr. Lawyer, and look, is that Ilka coming up? And there, the two ladies that are in the competition, mano a mano here, is Ilka lets Anna know, you're not going to walk away with this one. I'm going to give you a run for your money. I brought a knife to a gunfight, but I know how to wield it. Up front, Tim looking strong. Rearward, a lot of the wheel suckers. Ian's still there. And looking at their cameras, you can see what is going on here. Andy Lockwood back there just sitting in. And Ilka makes a push to go with the big men, leaving Anna in the dust. There goes Greg, and it's the final push. There's Mark spinning out near the front, as perhaps the final selection is to be made. Steve coming to the back. Nice work, Steve. And it looks like Danny coming through. Greg, perhaps the OCR ride was a little too much for him, unable to hold it. And here comes the mountain bike of Byron Besserell. This is impressive. Danny looking for a little bit of help as I'm trying to chase down the leaders as John Lawyer had taken a flyer up there. Look at Scott's camera. Scott is quick or not quick enough to be on the wheel, but he is reeling in Mr. Lawyer. And look at those wattages. I think I saw a peak of almost 800 watts in there. John, an ex-TTHer, one of the strong men, swinging it around, but it has been not enough training, as it looks like Scott is about to take this one. Well done, everybody. Well done. As you can see, the cameras are a little bit out of sync. Thank you for your camera, Ian. That's nice. A good time was had by all. And it looks like Ilka on the gravel bike is our women's winner today. Just impressive. And Scott taking the men's title. Very impressive, everyone. Very impressive. I enjoyed this one. A good time was had by all. I love this route. I love this road. Maybe two cars passed us. We rode safely. No one got hurt. And maybe a few people got their bruised egos if there's a mountain bike finishing in front of you. Yes. And a gravel bike. That's right. Well done. Kudos to all who finished in the select group. And kudos to those who did work at the front, because that isn't easy. Till next time, peace out, everyone.